and Bryce looked like an NFL quarterback. I think that time off, and he just said, to hell with these people. I'm just gonna go ahead and play my game.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the High Coaches Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday episode, Week 9 of the NFL season, Segment 1, the best, worst, and most surprising. Segment 2, our story of the week, talked about the Indianapolis Colts turning heel on their quarterback, and in Segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. But first, we have our academic and athletic consultant with us today, George Acker. George, what was the best thing you saw today in the NFL?
Shoot, I'm real scared right now. Them Ravens, boy, Ravens are taking people apart. It's like when they're focused and ready to go, they are a team to beat. So the way they just dismantled Denver after last week's little letdown, when their secondary forgot how to catch and cover, they made a statement on the comeback. So I give it to them. Ravens gonna be tough, man. They're gonna be real tough.
Yeah, but they lose at home so much. So I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. Also with us, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, what was the best thing you saw today, sir?
Oh man, the best thing I saw was got to be the Cardinals. The Cardinals came out. I expected that the Bears were going to regroup, come back after the crazy week that they lost. Everybody was talking about them all week, and the Cardinals came in and beat them. And quietly, the Cardinals are first place in the North in the NFC West. So that's
Get
the
out
best
of
thing.
here.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick on the Bears. Didn't that guy like get a DNP CD or something
I
like
didn't.
that?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was at the excellent CKA watch party, so I didn't get a chance to watch that other stuff was going
I
on. But
I heard that this guy did something else, got demoted, and then just like took himself out of the game or something. I'll find that out in between segments and see if we
I,
get back to it
I'm gonna
in
tell you
segment
this.
two.
I'll
Go
tell you
ahead.
this. I bet you. I'm really believing that the Cardinals. I mean, not the Cardinals, but the Bears season might be over. That might have been that whole play in Washington might have demoralized them and sunk their entire season. They might have to,
Yeah.
yeah. So because they ain't looking good. Because I don't think they ain't scored double digits today, did they?
If they did, it was 10.
Yeah,
All
I don't think they
right.
scored double digits.
I'm going to stay with you. What's the worst thing you saw today?
Oh, that's easy. Cowboys. Cowboys. They suck. I mean, literally suck.
Didn't Dak Prescott get like quoted saying that? Like
Uh,
I saw that on
he
social
was
media.
he was on the sidelines and he said it and they read his lips. So yeah, they suck. I mean, it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And you can't. The bad thing about it is, you all went out there. Dak was the scapegoat, and we could say Dak doesn't do this. Dak has no help whatsoever. There is no help whatsoever. And I hope next week Dak got injured. CD Lamb's injured. I hope next week that both of them are sitting. So when they go to Philly, you got Cooper Rush, and Michael Parsons will be sitting, Dak will be sitting, and Lamb will be sitting. That's what Jerry Jones deserves. I mean, it's a travesty what he did. I'm almost to the point where we sat here and we talked about how bad the franchise is in Carolina. Hey, I'm really believing Dallas ain't too far behind,
Wow.
and that's Jerry.
So Trey is not the backup. It's Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush came in the day after Dak got hurt.
Okay. All right. Cotton Man, what's the worst thing you saw today?
I went through the whole list of games, including the one on Thursday, and I still got to stay in. Like the worst thing was the Bears. I mean, they just came like come on, man, like it just really took me back a little bit about that team and the mentality of the coach and how they had a bye week. I get it. You play hard. You had a bye week. You had a tough game last week. You know, and then you just go out flat, man. That was the game where you're supposed to come out, especially Caleb Williams. And when you get outdueled by the second overall pick, by the first, you come out the next day like, oh, I'm going smack. I'm going crazy. And he didn't. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't believe in the coach, and I think the coach is he doesn't have the right spirit for that team, and they're not, and they don't believe that they can win. So that was the worst thing I saw.
All right, and I'm going to pile on. So, George, I did find out Tyreek Stevenson pulled himself out of practice after he found out he was demoted for the Hail Mary play. I'm looking at CBS Sports, and he said that is what happened. Not only did his actions lose the game, but it earned him a 1 week demotion. So he wasn't going to start against Arizona. After finding out he wasn't going to start, he pulled himself out of practice, and that was not received well by the Bears. He is still expected to be active, but I do not know if he played or not.
He just pulled himself out the league. So I'm just letting you know that now. Okay. He just pulled himself out the league.
Yeah.
All right. Will, I'm gonna stay with you. What's the most surprising thing that you saw today?
I was surprised that the Commanders won today. I mean, coming off that Chicago Bear, I mean, being a long time, Commander Redskins fan, they always go flat on those games. Those are always games where they're trap games where you're like, man, they're coming out strong. They go out there, they play the Giants. The Giants are bums, and then they lose. They lay an egg. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time, it happens. And they held them off, and they were in control for majority of the game. I didn't have to really worry about them like losing it. I mean, they made it close, but it wasn't anything I was worried about. They just made them. They were the better team. And now that Daniel Jones can't make money off the Commanders games no more, because all his contract is from those 2 wins every season, beating the Commanders, home and away. That's how he got a contract. But so that's not happening. So a lot of things going on in Giants, but very surprised, but very happy that the Commanders won this and did not get caught in the trap game.
Did he run for 100 yards like Bobian said he would?
Nah, man, I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Okay. George, what's the most surprising thing you saw today?
Carolina Panthers.
Why'd you win the day?
Carolina Panthers. Bryce brought them back because they were down. Bryce brought them back, scored a late touchdown, and Bryce looked like an NFL quarterback. I think that time off, and he just said, to hell with these people. I'm just going to go ahead and play my game. And that's what he's doing. And he didn't look like he had happy feet in the pocket and nothing. He looked good. So yeah, they were most surprised. I was paying attention to that. And I know they were just playing the Saints, but as bad as Carolina's been, it could have been anybody. I mean, while we were at that illustrious fundraiser for the CKA project, I was, while everybody was watching the Redskins or whatever you want to call them, I was in the other room watching Cowboys stink the place up and watching Bryce put up a win for Carolina.
Gotta give it up to the Green Turtle. Those game day drink specials. That's a quality little deal they got there with the $6 personal pitchers.
Yep.
Good time had by all.
Yep.
So fans, in segment 2, we're actually going to take a deep dive on the Colts. I'm glad I got my player and my admin here because they turned heel on their quarterback, and I got to get their thoughts on it. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast in segment 2. Colts turned heel on Anthony Richardson. So, in wrestling fans, when the good guy turns to the dark side, they call it turning heel. The Indianapolis coach benched Anthony Richardson, and they are turning to Joe Flacco, not for a game, but for the rest of the season, according to media reports. They decided to change based after Richardson asked to come out of the game last week against the Houston Texans for one play because he said he was tired. Internally, the Colts maintain that Richardson's time as their franchise quarterback is not over. However, George, you've been doing this a while. This kid came out of Florida with a lot of hobble-a-do, but I don't know if he was evaluated properly. What do you think about the Colts making this change now?
They had to. I mean, the kid's coming out of Florida with 12 games of experience. So he's seen very little time. I mean, and by him asking out to get, he lost the locker room. They had no other choice. What player? He's supposed to be the leader on the field, the leader of the team. What player, what vet is going to sit there and going to back him and follow him through a brick wall? It's not going to happen. So he put them in a no-win situation. They had to go with Flacco. And like they said, like they stated, Flacco will be a starter for the rest of the season. They're going to have talk to this young man, get him straight, and see if they can tee it up next year and see what they got. Because he right now, man, there's no way they could run him back out there. There's no way. It wasn't going to work because nobody's going to play for him, and it's a problem. So, hey, man, when you make your draft choice off of just sheer athletic ability, it comes back to haunt you. That's just what it is. IEC, what's your boy Jamarcus Russell?
Oh, all right. Well, you followed this young scholar in college. You followed him to the pros, but you're a captain. Did he break a cardinal rule? How do you guys feel about this in the locker room? What say you?
I mean, that's something that we joke about in the locker room after the game. Like, man, I was tired. That's something that you tell the reporter after a game. After a big game like that. I think George said it perfectly. I mean, I don't have to really elaborate on it. But they do have to be careful. Because one hit by Flacco and he's right back on the field. And depending on that hit, that could be the rest of the season. So they can't just dump him, and they have to kind of keep him up. Like George says, keep him involved. Say like, hey man, like we're not benching you. We're just we're adjusting things because because these kids are soft. Coach, these kids are soft. You gotta put it in ways. You got to put it in ways to make them feel good about themselves and things like that. Just say, no, this is not a demotion. This is an opportunity to learn with no risk. You know what I'm saying? Like you just out there do your thing. And because eventually at some point we got to put him back on the field. You know what I'm saying? So I think just like with Bryce Young, I think benching him was the best thing. Like George said, they benched him for a little bit. He got to look, he got to see what's going on, and he got to play. And George admitted he played better today. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's a whole season for Anthony Richardson, so that next year he's seen enough that he can go, or even when Flacco goes down, he can jump in and say, okay, I kind of understand what's going on. So I mean, it's an opportunity. He still has the opportunity, so he needs to take advantage of it.
All right, George, I got to throw this at you, George.
Why?
This guy was the fourth pick in last year's draft. He has a 44.4 completion rate this season, which is fifth worst in a player's first 6 games of the season since 2000, according to stats. And George, the Colts willingly said, we're going to go to the 39-year-old Joe Flacco instead of you. And you still tell me this guy could come back? Come on, man.
Look, man, they're going to have to check and see what they have. So there's going to be a time where he's going to be back because they got to make a decision. The problem is you got a kid that got 12 starts in the SEC for a marginal Florida team. He had times where he looked brilliant. He had times where he looked like he shouldn't be on the field. But you went out and used the first round draft choice on him. So you got to see what you got. And you have to make a fair evaluation of him. Now, You got the only way you can do that is after you give him some season and some time to learn some things. But the problem right now is, and I don't know how they overcome this, and Will back me up on this. He made a cardinal sin. You go back to back when we were playing football, tackle football on the field or even on the asphalt, whatever. And when somebody bowed out and said, I can't go no more, I can't do it. Everybody in the neighborhood looks at he's soft as hell. And he ain't get picked up no more. So
change your life.
Yep. So you got veterans right now that are like, oh no, I can't go to war with this kid. Like this is big boy game. This is big boy game, big boy time. People's lives are on the line. You know, they not just their livelihood, their lives in a lot of occasions. And you got a dude that's gonna sit there and talk about tap that. I'm tired. Come get me. These dudes don't. When have you ever seen anybody tap out because they're tired? It don't happen. It happens in no major sport nowhere. Even if you're tired, everybody's tired. You fight through it.
Shoot, you ain't got it. Not even an athlete. We all tired. I'm tired.
You keep going. What you know? Your kid. If you at the house, the kid crying, and you the wife is gone. Who gonna get the kid? What you gonna tap out? I'm tired. Just sit in the room, shut up. That ain't gonna work.
No sub this time.
Yeah. So that I don't know how they fix that problem. I don't know how anybody comes in and trusts him again. It's one thing to sit him because of his performance, or sit him because he needs some more. He needs some more time. He need to see the game or whatever. It's another thing that he literally left the game because he was so defeated, and that's a problem. And we're talking about that's mental and physical right there. So that's a problem, dog. That's a major problem.
All right, so fans, when we get back in segment 3, we'll do our top 5, and we'll also talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful anecdotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast, and in segment 3, Godman, give us our top 5 before we talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only.
I like the Chiefs, number 1. I like the Bills, number 2. I think the Bills are right there. They're right there. They're playing well. And I'm a hater of the Bills. I'm not a big fan, but they're playing well right now. They're winning games that they need to win. Normally, they lose those games. They're playing well. 3, I put the Commanders. Commanders are playing very hot. Wow. They're playing with house money. It doesn't matter. From now on, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what happens the rest of the season. I think fans are very excited. I think the organization is excited. I think moving forward, that's exactly what you want to do as a first year owner. Love it. Right behind them, I got Philly. Philly looks like they figured it out. I'm a little worried about AJ Brown not coming back, but man, Devontae Smith was just out here balling crazy. Again, you're going against the Jags secondary, so everybody balls real for real. But Saquon looks like he's on his stride, like he knows his thing.
Ridiculous.
So
ridiculous play.
Yes.
And then number 5, I got the Ravens right now. That loss still killed them. If they won last week and this week, they definitely would have been up there with the Commanders and pushed everyone else down. But that's my 5: Chiefs, Bills, Commanders, Phillies, Ravens.
All right, George, any thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I can't go with them with some of this. I got to go Kansas City at 1. You got Detroit got to be 2 because they just dismantling people and they beat Green Bay today. 3, I can bring Philly in at that point in time. 4 is where, and then I can put Buffalo at 4. And then 5, we got a lot of contenders here. We got, you got a lot of contenders here. You got the Ravens, who I would put in there. The Steelers, dog. You got your man.
I totally forgot about the Lions, to be honest.
And they're on a bye
know.
this week, Will. So
Yeah.
I can understand that.
I was just hyped by the Commanders being talked about in a good way. Lost my mind.
Your man
George is better than mine. Chiefs, Lions, and then the rest.
Your man finds a way to win all the daggone time. I don't know how he does it, but he keeps doing it. And that's that 5 right there. I'm keeping the Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them. I keep them out right now because I gotta wait till they play somebody, and beat somebody.
They got to Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah, they haven't played anybody yet, so I want to see that. And then because the one game they had where they actually played a real team was against the Commanders, and that didn't work out too well for them. So I gotta see them up against some good competition when they got Steelers that'll be worthwhile. They get Philly, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's the 5 I'm rocking.
George is better. I didn't like mine.
All right. Pittsburgh is on a bye this week, so I can understand that. All right, let's go. Season-long bets. I got Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the AFC North. Both teams are trending the right way. Baltimore's got 6 wins, and Pittsburgh's got 5. The over-under's 10.5.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's got 6.
Pittsburgh's got 6. Great.
6 and 2.
That's even better. Okay. So AFC South, I'm way off. So Jacksonville and Tennessee. I had Tennessee in the under, Jacksonville in the over. Both Tennessee's gonna hit me with the under, so that's good. Miami in the AFC East, I had the under 9.5 and Buffalo over 10. Buffalo's already got 7 wins.
Wow.
So we're good with that. And I told you I don't like Miami anyway. So good for them. But Buffalo didn't win by enough points for me, strictly for entertainment purposes only today.
Put Matthew Stafford up there with the best. All right, don't mention that. Make sure you mention that man's name. Don't forget that man's name. All right, Keith.
I can't believe they were talking about trading them all for 2 weeks.
All right, so something good just happened. We'll get to that shortly. They're covering it for me. Denver and Vegas in the AFC West. I got the under for both. Denver will eventually get over, but the Vegas Raiders will not. In the NFC North, I did listen to George once this year. I got Detroit and Green Bay. So Green Bay was George's pick, and Will and I both say they like that guy in Detroit, so let's just keep rolling with them. In the NFC South, I've got Atlanta with the over. They've got 6 wins. I got Carolina with over 5.5. Yeah, they got to win. Maybe they'll get something. In the NFC East, Washington has already won 7. I won that bet, and I just got the alert from ESPN. We'll get to that shortly. Dallas sucks, but the Rams, did they pull that off?
Yes, they did.
So that gives them 4 wins. Arizona has 4 wins, so we're in good shape with that.
5 wins.
Yeah, Arizona has 5 wins.
You sell them short. Don't they? They're in first place. They're in first place.
All right. So this week, last week I was 1-6. This week I was 4-3. So I am highly entertained. And here are the super bets that I did today. Buffalo -6. I was fussing at them during the game, so they didn't help me. But we've got the Rams and the Chargers both covering. Rams was -1 and Chargers was -1.5. I guess the Chargers have turned the corner. So congratulations to the Chargers. Keep winning. 3-play was Detroit -3, Washington -4, and Arizona -2. We hit the pay window. Had a 4-play money line. Baltimore, Cincy, Washington, and blankety blank New Orleans. What are y'all doing? Jacksonville and Philly hit the over, 45.5. And New England and Tennessee hit the under, 37.5, and they scored 37 points. So, hey, thank you for the half a point. And my upset of the pick, right in line with my college pick. I picked Penn State for the upset in college, and I picked Dallas for the upset in the pros, both losses. George, did you do anything strictly for entertainment purposes only this week?
I was only thing I did for entertainment purposes was take your money on Saturday. Because you don't want to listen, so I tried to tell you what was going to go down. So I did not go near the NFL. I was too entertained with what was happening is Saturday in college football.
All right, Cadman, did you do anything for entertainment purposes only this Sunday?
I did, but man, I got out the way, and it's all good. Let's see. Do I got anything crazy? Nah, nothing crazy. But I ain't winning,
Okay.
so it is what it
All
is.
right. So next week, week 10, Cincinnati and Baltimore is the Thursday game. Giants and Carolina is the Germany game, the early game on Saturday. I guess we don't want to expand the league globally.
No, we just hope that Germany doesn't want to invade us. That's what we hope they don't want to go to war with us over that.
We got the Patriots and Chicago. Chicago should come off their snide with that one. Buffalo against Indy, Denver against KC, Atlanta against New Orleans, San Francisco versus Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh coming to Washington, Minnesota traveling to Jacksonville, Tennessee versus the Chargers, Eagles and Cowboys. What is going on in Dallas? Jets in Arizona, Detroit and Houston are the Sunday night game. And in prime time, baby, the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Rams. We've got Cleveland on the bye week, Green Bay on the bye week, Vegas and Seattle. Will, are there any games you are interested in next week?
Cincy and Baltimore. It's going to be very interesting. Cincy's playing very well. Baltimore's playing very well. Cincy owes them from last year from getting whooped up in them when they went to Baltimore last year. It's going to be very interesting. I think also the Eagles versus the Cowboys is going to be interesting. I mean, it's always interesting.
What's interesting? How many points the Eagles going to score?
We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, it'll be funny because for the first time in a long time, Commanders fans and Cowboys fans are all rooting against the Eagles. So that'll be cool. We can actually watch the game together. That'd be pretty chill. Any other games that are pretty good? None other. I mean, Detroit, Houston looks like it's going to be good, but no, everybody's kind of hurt. So it's like, it sounds good, but I think, the Lions are going to beat the crap out of them. No easy. And the Jets versus Arizona. This is a game that we kind of look back in the summer where we were like, oh, this is a game that the Jets could win. I don't know if it's going to be as easy as they think it is because they got to come all the way to Arizona. So we'll see what happens. But they are playing better, but we'll see what happens, man. We'll see.
Okay, George, anything week 10 interest you?
Yeah, the Lions, Texans do. Want to see what the Commanders are made of. So that should be a good test with the Steelers.
A legitimate team.
The game. Oh, and I'm calling it now. Patriots gonna beat the Bears. I'm calling that now.
Drake may still play quarterback.
Drake may be one today.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Drake may one today. But the game. And I'm calling following out now. Tampa Bay and the 49ers. And the 49ers are going to Tampa. I'm going to tell you this now. If 49ers lose, it's going to be hard sledding trying to get the train back on the tracks. So that is a big, big game right there for the season. And I don't know who's going to be healthy for the 49ers. I hope they got a whole, at least part of the cast and crew back. Because if they lose, that's what's that, 5 losses, 4 or 5 losses right there. That is that's 5 losses. That's going to be a tough pit to crawl out of. So
will be, yep, with a very expensive roster. So
there's
really nothing they can do. They can't trade anybody. Nobody's going to give them a draft pick. It's going to be, and they're not going to get a good one.
Right.
So, and they got to pay Brock Purdy. So they got to really make a lot of decisions. And if they don't make it or win it in this window, it looks like it's not this year.
Right.
They got a lot of decisions to make and a lot of people to pay. And,
And will you play Brock Purdy if you keep losing?
And yeah, well, you got to. Well, you got nowhere else to go.
You got to. You got
at,
to.
at this point in time,
Do we really?
Yeah, at this point,
We've looked at a lot of disappointing quarterbacks killing franchises this year.
at this point in time, you have to. Now, if they go lose 3 or 4, go lose 3 or 4 more, then you can go see what else we got, and you say what Purdy's not the answer. But right now, technically, they're still in it, even with a loss. They'll still be, they still be in it somewhat. The thing is ridiculous that just killing them, that's sucking them, is the fact that they're not going to get CMC on the field probably at all this year. I think he might be done for the year. He might be done. His season, his career might be over. So it's tough. It's a tough situation with them, man. Their window, no CMC, the window is pretty much shut. So it's going to be a problem. That's a problem.
All right, and also on Tuesday, trade deadline. So we talked a couple of weeks about, do in-season trades work? We're going to find out. And also Tuesday, college football's first rankings come out. And oh yes, election day is Tuesday as well. So I don't care who you
can
vote
bet on that
for.
too if you want.
But vote for Fred C. Davis. All right.
All I got to say is Penn State won't be mentioned.
We'll leave it at that.
No longer.
On behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and watching the iCoaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care. Yes, I reset it a Good Times reference.
The iCoaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The iCoaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the iCoaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the iCoaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at oddcoaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the iCoaches podcast.